Hey, what is going on YouTube? Aaron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, and this is it. Confirmation. We found a bug in Legends. I want to be the first one to tell you that this bug is so inconsequential. I almost didn't want to make a video on it, but I figured it would be better to put the information out there so you guys are aware of it, so you know that Wargaming is aware of it, and so you know what it is and how to potentially counteract it. If you stare down the barrel of your sights for more than 8 minutes, but regardless of that, there is a small bug that Tommy Boy, if you haven't seen his video, make sure you check out his rendition or explanation of it. He was testing a different scientific experiment, and he found that, as you can see, we are now stopped, that if you hold on to zoom, then your reticle, even once you stopped, we will slow down here in a minute, continues to go down, and you can see this by the distance on the screen there. Now, of course, when you're moving and the enemy ship is moving, the auto aim sort of I guess it locks onto that target and will kind of lead it for you. Now, I have always, for the last 3 years, what I call micro adjust or adjusted my aim on top of that, and that actually fixes the bug. We will go over that towards the end of the video. But guys, there is a lot of just conspiracy theories right now in Legends, and I want to explain a few things. Number one, this is a bug. Wargaming said they were aware of it, or this is a feature. It's not really of value, though. It could explain why some shells potentially fall short as we zoom in here, and you can see that we are fully stopped, and the reticle is still moving 0.01 down every couple of seconds. Who does this affect? American battleship players who sit in the back of the map with their sights zoomed in. So if you're moving at all, I think it kind of adjusts that. Also, if you adjust your aim, your target lock, it rezooms, it kind of rezooms on the readjust to the center of the ship, which we do here in just a moment. But every time, if you guys did not know, every time you select a target and you fire your guns, there is an ellipse created. There's an oval created. And for the longest time, I believed shells land short, and I still think they do to a certain extent. There's a lot that goes into aim, which is why these aiming videos are sometimes... It's funny, and there's also some truth to them. I will be the first to say that World of Warships Legends is not a perfect product. I feel like you either have to absolutely hate this game, yet play it all the time, or you're just this wargaming lover. I hate the decisions that Wargaming has made recently, especially about the Bureau. Now, they just announced that there will be 3 Bureau ships that are soon to be added. What those ships are, I don't know. I think the balancing in this game sometimes doesn't make any sense, and I think they could do very simple things that I guess a lot of us know because we play the game often, one of which being an example of if they were to change the spawns. So that being, that out of the way, I am not defending Wargaming. People just... The attitude of this community sometimes is just so obnoxiously... It's like a child that doesn't get their way every, 5 minutes. It's like, I want a lollipop. Oh, well, I want a candy bar now. It's like, well, you just had a lollipop. Well, I want it. I want it now. And if it's not done, then there's just, incessant crying. But regardless of that, here you can see we are now stopped, or we were rather. Now we are going, full speed ahead here as the ship accelerates, and you can see that the aim once again starts to move down. Now, this to me is normal, but we prove kind of later on that we go next to this group of Montanas here. We sit broadside, fully stopped, and aim in again, and it starts to do the same thing. Now, again, who does this affect? Well, battleship mains camping at the back of the map, not adjusting their aim. So if there's anything to learn from this, don't be useless in the back of the map. Now, there is also something, like I said, I mentioned this is probably the reason that at least there has been one case in history in this game that this has caused shells to fall short. Now, I think there is a lack of understanding about dispersion ellipses. I will throw in a graphic here on the screen to help you illustrate what I'm talking about here. But every time you fire your guns, there is an oval created around the ship. So when I was talking about angling yesterday, and this gentleman said I wasn't angled, and he had no idea what he's talking about. This is kind of what we're talking about. Either when you angle or whenever you lock onto a ship, there is an oval created. So if you were to come in at an angle to that oval, that's why sometimes you see a slight dodge and a slight turn in or turn out will cause shells to miss. It's not because of your win rate or some other he's wearing his lucky socks. It's just part of the game mechanic. And the reason that for a long time I thought shells fall short is because some shells can land on the short side of that oval. And the oval is created at the midship line. So that's why you guys see me aim high sometimes. So that way when those shells potentially do fall short, they land in the citadel. So that is why more often than not, I will aim just a touch above the waterline if I have a flat broadside shot. Now, of course, when a ship is moving away from you or towards you, you will have to adjust your aim accordingly. But to me, it seems like when ships are going away from me, shells tend to land a touch short. Now, we know that the ship is moving, those shells going through the air. There's so many things to account for in this game. But here we're kind of rolling up on this group of Montanas, and I wanted to get fully stopped before, completing the final, semi-testing. And let me say that this example on its own does not prove anything, which is why Tommy asked for Mike, Meta, and myself to recreate this bug, and this is when I went into training rooms to do so. But here, we're going to go ahead and throw up another graphic just so you guys are aware of how those shells, talking about shells landing short, if I were to fire right now, and we actually test this a little bit later on, we follow the reticle down and single fire our guns just to see where they would go. Some shells could land in the water, some could land in the superstructure. Now, ideally, we want all 12 to go into the citadel there, but that is what RNG is for. In a real historic naval battle, there was wind, there was rain, there was human error, there was the ships moving, there was not, there was not auto aim and target lock. But here you can see we are fully stopped now, and the reticle is still going down. So probably a potential very small bug. Is this going to ruin the game? I don't know. Maybe if you're camping in the back in the Montana, like we said. But anyway, back to the RNG argument. That is RNG, and that is why some shells will land high. That is why this game is, so complex, but also so frustrating at the same time, but also so fun, because some days you get the RNG, you get the dev strike, and some days you don't. Last night I had a few teammates who just make it insanely annoying and frustrating. But that is part of the game. I hope you learned something in this video. And again, this bug, I just feel like sometimes unless players get 9 dev strikes per game, it's Wargaming's fault instead of their own positioning. And that was kind of the point I was trying to make in a lot of my videos. It's not about your build. It's not about your RNG. It's about your positioning and overcoming that. It's almost to me like blaming the ref sometimes. Now, of course, we know there have been some terrible calls. I can think of 2019 Clemson versus Ohio State, the catch and fumble that was clearly a catch and fumble and ruled not, which turned the tide for Clemson. But the reason we lost that game was a last-minute interception, not because of that specific play. But when people create these just fallacies in Legends, it's like blaming the ref to me. It's like, oh, well, I didn't get the dev strike on the opening salvo. It's like, okay, well, shoot him again, I don't know. We have all been frustrated. Last night was kind of funny and sad at the same time of how bad teams can be, and it was frustrating, absolutely. When you get that bad team and you don't get the RNG roll, the game can be very easily be frustrating. But that's when I kind of just sit back. I feel like I've done better at letting those things go and just, move on to the next match. And then it literally happened to me the other night. I was playing the Salem. I had a teammate not doing anything. I wasn't getting the RNG. We lost the game. And then I played the Pensacola, and I got the Pensacola XP record, which will be a video hopefully later this week. I'm actually going to Denver as well later this week. But here we can kind of see the final iteration of this bug. We're sitting here at 3.13 kilometers right next to this Montana, and I wanted to hold it, and there it goes. So if you aim for more than 80 seconds at a target, be prepared to have those shells fall short. But we will potentially be doing some other testing, and make sure to check out Tommy's video. He's a great content creator. Also, congrats on the new job, Tommy, for the big D there. He's been kind of absent, but he told me that he put out a video where he's kind of getting tired of the game, and I am as well. The game can be stale, but that's why we're trying new ships, new builds, and training rooms have added a new little spice. But unfortunately, we have already seen the downside of training rooms with just the these science that has been introduced to the game sometimes. Oh man. Science is very, very unique in the fact that sometimes we want ourselves to be right so bad we will do anything to make it look that way, and that's why I really hate a lot of the online fitness community right now. And you could probably apply this to you know, whatever. But here I'm actually testing my controller. I wanted to make sure that there was no stick drift. But here you can see I'm not touching it. No buttons are pressed, and then I start to obviously touch each stick here a bunch of times. But then we had a period where I just tried not to touch it. But yeah, that's all me. I am not going to superimpose the video, but here I waited, and it looks like there is no stick drift. So a little minor bug in Legends. I don't know what you guys want to do with this. This video is, you know, I've blabbered on for long enough and sat in training rooms looking at 5 Montanas here. So play the game, don't play the game. It doesn't matter to me. My life is, things in my life are going pretty well right now. If you've been following my live streams, we're about to make a big investment with the GF there. I hope she doesn't watch these videos. I know she doesn't, but so if Legends really ruins your lives this much, if this bug is just the final straw, then go ahead and don't play. We still have a lot of fun in training rooms. And, you know, life isn't all about video games, but that's just the message I have for you guys. Maybe touch some grass, just like the T-Bowl situation. Some people, especially on the Reddit community, need to touch some grass. Almost forgot to show you guys the quick little fix to this bug. If you notice that your reticle is going down and you micro adjust up, as this is almost where I would aim if this were a shot in a game, if you just adjust up that little bit, it seems to me, it appears anyway in this brief testing, that it does potentially fix this bug. But as soon as you go down, you can see that it starts to do that thing where it just kind of drags it down again. So if your final adjustment is up, it kind of stops this bug. So just something to keep in mind. I know it's kind of annoying to deal with, but again, touch some grass. I don't know. I've got bigger things in life going on, like we said. Anyway, I love you guys. That is the video. Let me know what you guys think. Aaron out. Peace.